Have you ever met someone whose presence alone made you question time itself? Their energy is magnetic, their spirit unshaken, and despite the years, they carry a glow that defies the ordinary. You may think it's genetics, luck, or a secret skincare routine, but the truth runs much deeper. Youth is not just a number, it's a reflection of how you think, how you feel, and how you choose to live. Some people wear the weight of the world on their faces, etched in every line of worry and regret. Others seem untouched by time, not because life has been kinder to them, but because they have mastered the art of resilience, curiosity, and emotional freedom. Looking younger isn't about escaping aging, it's about living in a way that makes time irrelevant. So, if you've ever been told you don't look your age, or if you wonder why some people radiate an ageless glow while others seem weathered by the years, stay with me. Today, we uncover the hidden principles that shape not just how you look, but how you truly exist in the world. 1. The silent strength that keeps you young. Some people walk through storms and emerge untouched, their spirits unshaken, their presence radiating a quiet power that makes them seem ageless. Others crumble under the weight of time, their faces etched with worry, their bodies bearing the marks of battles they never truly recovered from. The difference isn't luck, nor is it simply genetics, it's the silent force of resilience, the ability to stand firm in the face of adversity without letting it carve itself into your soul. Have you ever noticed how stress ages people faster than time itself? A mind weighed down by anxiety, regret, and emotional turmoil slowly etches those burdens onto the body. The shoulders slump under the invisible weight of worry. The eyes dim, drained by sleepless nights spent reliving past mistakes or fearing an uncertain future. The face stiffens, not from age, but from years of holding back words, swallowing emotions, and carrying unspoken pain. Now, look at those who remain vibrant, those whose energy seems untouched by the passing years. They have something rare, something powerful, an unbreakable spirit. These are the people who do not let stress master them. They do not dwell on things outside their control, nor do they allow setbacks to define them. They understand a fundamental truth. Hardship is inevitable, but suffering is optional. When life knocks them down, they don't waste energy asking, "Why me?" Instead, they ask, "What now?" They do not dwell in the ruins of what was lost. They build anew. They refuse to let the past weigh them down, because they know that carrying old pain only makes the journey heavier. It is not that they do not feel sadness, anger, or disappointment. It is that they do not let those emotions take root. Science supports this. Studies show that chronic stress increases cortisol, a hormone that accelerates aging by breaking down collagen, dulling the skin, and exhausting the body. But those who master their emotions, who choose perspective over panic, produce higher levels of dopamine and serotonin chemicals that not only boost happiness, but also slow the physical effects of aging. The mind and body are not separate. What burdens one will burden the other. Perhaps you have met someone who, despite everything they have endured, still carries light in their eyes. They have been hurt, but they are not bitter. They have been disappointed, but they still trust. They have faced loss, but they still move forward. There is a certain beauty in their presence, an unshakable calm that speaks louder than words. That is the essence of true youth, not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to let struggle define you. So, if you want to remain youthful not just in appearance, but in presence, in spirit, ask yourself, Do I let stress consume me? Do I hold on to things that no longer serve me? If the answer is yes, then the solution is not found in a bottle of anti-aging cream. It is in learning to let go. It is in understanding that the mind dictates how the body carries time. It is in choosing resilience over resistance, in accepting what is and refusing to be broken by what was. Because in the end, youth is not measured by years, but by the weight you choose to carry. Let go of what ages you, and watch how life reflects that choice back at you. 2. The art of flow. Why embracing change keeps you young. Some people move through life like water fluid, adaptable, unshaken by the shifting tides. Others cling to the shore, resisting the currents, fearing what lies beyond their comfort. And over time, that resistance doesn't just stiffen their mindset, it stiffens their body, their spirit, and even their appearance. Aging is not just the passing of years, it is the slow rigidity of the mind, the unwillingness to evolve. You've seen it before people who, though still young, carry the weight of stagnation. Their conversations loop in circles, always about the past. Their routines remain unchanged, not out of discipline, but out of fear. Their energy feels still, as if they've already decided who they are and will not allow life to shape them further. Contrast this with those who seem ageless, whose presence feels alive no matter their years. They are the ones who embrace change instead of fearing it. When life shifts, they shift with it. When old paths close, they find new ones. They do not resist time, they move with it. The cost of resistance. What happens when people fight change? They grow rigid, and rigidity leads to stress. Studies show that chronic stress triggers the release of cortisol, the very hormone responsible for dull skin, premature wrinkles, and exhaustion. But it does more than that, it makes people feel older. When the mind refuses to grow, the body follows, adopting the stiffness of someone bracing against a world they no longer understand. Resistance to change is not just a mental habit, it is a form of self-inflicted aging. It is the refusal to learn, to evolve, to let go of what no longer serves you. And what does that do? It traps people in the past, making them bitter instead of wise, stuck instead of free. The power of adaptability. Now look at those who seem to defy time. They are not immune to hardship, nor do they have perfect lives, but they flow. They do not get stuck in outdated beliefs, nor do they fear reinvention. They approach life with curiosity rather than resistance. They say yes to new experiences. They pick up new skills, explore different perspectives, and refuse to let age dictate what they should or shouldn't do. And because of this, their energy remains light, their minds remain sharp, and their presence feels young. Science backs this up. Research shows that lifelong learning keeps the brain active, strengthening neural pathways and preventing cognitive decline. Those who continuously engage with new ideas, who challenge themselves intellectually, who step outside their routines, these are the people whose minds and bodies remain youthful, not because they fear aging, but because they do not let themselves decay before their time. A choice, not a coincidence. So ask yourself, am I resisting life, or am I flowing with it? If you find yourself clinging to what was, fearful of what could be, understand this stagnation is a choice. Growth is also a choice. The people who stay young in spirit are not simply lucky. They have chosen, day after day, to embrace what is unfamiliar instead of retreating into the past. They understand that comfort zones are just another form of confinement, that the unknown is not something to fear, but something to explore. That youth is not preserved by desperately holding on to the past, but by welcoming the future with open arms. Because in the end, those who embrace change do not just survive time, they dance with it. And in that dance, they remain forever young. 3. The fire of the mind. How curiosity keeps you timeless. Some people walk through life as if they've already seen everything, as if nothing can surprise them anymore. Their conversations are predictable, their thoughts unchallenged, their days a repetition of the last. Over time, something fades, not just their enthusiasm, but their very presence. The spark in their eyes dulls, their energy becomes stagnant, and they age, not because of years, but because they have stopped seeing. Then, there are those who remain ageless, not because of their skin, but because of the way they think. They are the ones who never stop asking, never stop learning, never stop searching for new ways to understand the world. Their curiosity fuels them, keeps their minds sharp, their spirits vibrant. They are not simply alive, they are awake. The silent death of the mind. Aging is not just biological, it is mental. The moment you stop being curious, the moment you believe you have nothing left to explore, you begin to fade. The brain, like a muscle, weakens when it is not used. Studies have shown that a lack of mental stimulation leads to faster cognitive decline, while those who continuously learn, question and engage with new ideas maintain their mental sharpness well into old age. But beyond science, there is something deeper at play. A mind that is no longer curious becomes trapped in routine, in assumptions, in outdated beliefs. It loses its flexibility, its ability to adapt, and with that, it loses its vitality. You've seen it before: people who refuse to see beyond what they know, who dismiss new perspectives, who are more interested in defending what they believe than in discovering what they don't know yet. These are the people who grow old before their time. The energy of those who seek. Now look at those who seem untouched by age. They are not necessarily young in years, but they feel young. Why? Because their minds are alive. They are the ones who still read, still travel, still engage in deep conversations. They listen more than they speak. They ask questions not because they need answers, but because they genuinely want to understand. There is a certain glow to them, not one that comes from skincare, but from the fire inside. Their eyes remain bright, their expressions animated, their presence magnetic. They do not see life as something that is passing them by. They see it as something they are constantly discovering. The science of staying sharp. Curiosity doesn't just make life more interesting, it actively keeps you young. Research has shown that learning new skills and engaging in mentally stimulating activities strengthen neural connections, reducing the risk of cognitive decline. More than that, curiosity releases dopamine, the very chemical associated with motivation, pleasure, and youthful energy. But the impact goes even further. A curious mind is a present mind. It is engaged, it is aware, it notices details that others overlook. This kind of awareness translates physically. People who remain mentally active tend to have better posture, more expressive faces, and a certain lightness in their energy. They carry themselves not as people who are merely existing, but as people who are truly living. A simple yet powerful choice. So ask yourself, when was the last time I truly learned something new? When was the last time I asked a question, not out of obligation, but out of genuine wonder? If the answer does not come easily, then maybe, just maybe, you have let your mind settle into complacency. But here's the good news. Curiosity is a choice, a decision. You can reignite it at any time. Read something you wouldn't normally read. Explore a topic that challenges your views. Ask deeper questions in conversations. Stop assuming you already know, and instead, act as if the world is still filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Because the truth is it is, and those who embrace that truth, who continue to seek, to question, to remain endlessly curious, those are the ones who do not just avoid aging, they transcend it. 4. The weight of unspoken words. How emotional expression keeps you young. Some people carry their past not just in their minds, but in their bodies. You can see it in their posture, in the lines on their faces, in the way their energy feels heavy, as if they have spent a lifetime swallowing words they should have spoken, holding back tears they should have shed, forcing smiles they did not feel. Suppressed emotions do not simply disappear. They settle deep within, carving themselves into the skin, into the spirit, into the way a person moves through the world. And then there are those who remain light. Their faces do not bear the stiffness of resentment, nor do their eyes carry the dullness of suppressed sorrow. They laugh freely, they cry without shame, they speak without fear. They do not let emotions rot inside them, turning into bitterness and regret. Instead, they release, and because of that, they remain vibrant, not just in appearance, but in presence. The silent toll of suppression. We are often taught that strength means holding things in, that to endure life's hardships, we must learn to contain our emotions, to bury pain beneath silence, to force composure, even when we are breaking inside. But this idea is flawed. Science confirms what ancient wisdom has long understood: emotions that are not expressed do not vanish. They manifest in the body. Chronic stress and unprocessed emotions increase cortisol levels, accelerating aging, weakening the immune system, and leaving behind visible traces: deep frown lines, tightened jaws, a heaviness in the eyes. Those who refuse to release their emotions age not just in spirit, but in form. But those who allow themselves to feel, who embrace emotions, instead of fearing them, experience something different. Their bodies are not burdened by unresolved tension. Their faces remain expressive, their movements fluid. They do not age under the weight of their own silence. The freedom in expression. Look at the people who seem eternally youthful. They are not the ones who suppress their feelings, nor are they the ones who are controlled by them. They have learned a different path, the art of release. They do not fear vulnerability. When they are happy, they laugh fully, without hesitation. When they are hurt, they acknowledge it, process it, and let it go instead of storing it like poison. They do not waste energy pretending to be fine when they are not, nor do they apologize for the depth of their feelings. And because of this, their presence remains light. Their energy is not weighed down by years of unspoken pain. Their faces, free from the tension of bottled-up emotions, remain open, expressive, alive. The science of letting go. Studies have shown that people who openly express emotions, whether through speech, writing, or movement, experience lower levels of stress, better cardiovascular health, and even longer lifespans. Emotional suppression, on the other hand, has been linked to higher risks of anxiety, depression, and physical illness. It is no coincidence that cultures that embrace emotional expression often have people who appear more youthful and energetic well into old age. Emotional honesty is not weakness, it is a silent, powerful form of self-preservation, a simple yet powerful shift. So ask yourself, do I let myself feel, or do I suppress? Do you let emotions move through you, or do you let them harden inside you? Do you express your joy, your grief, your anger, or do you wear a mask, hoping that if you pretend long enough, the feelings will go away? Because here's the truth, they won't. But you have a choice. You can begin to release. Speak the words you have held back. Allow yourself to cry when your body asks you to. Laugh without self-consciousness. Express yourself fully without apology. Let go of the idea that strength is silence. True strength is honesty. And when you do, you will notice something. Your shoulders will feel lighter, your face will soften, your energy will shift. Because in the end, youth is not just about skin and years. It is about how much weight you carry. And those who release what no longer serves them. They move through life with a kind of effortless radiance zone that no wrinkle can erase. 5. The silent influence. How your environment shapes your youth. Some people walk into a room and the air around them feels lighter. Their presence carries warmth, an energy that uplifts, that makes you feel alive just by being near them. And then there are those who bring a heaviness kind that lingers long after they've left. Conversations with them feel draining. Their words are filled with complaints, criticism, and quiet bitterness. What most people don't realize is that energy is contagious. You do not simply exist in your environment, you absorb it. And over time, the energy you surround yourself with does not just shape your emotions, it shapes your very being. It can make you feel alive, or it can silently drain the life out of you. The unseen weight of negativity. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to age faster, not because of time, but because of what they carry? Their expressions harden, their posture stiffens, and their presence feels heavy, as if life itself has worn them down. More often than not, they have spent years surrounded by negativity, people who pull them into cycles of stress, gossip, and pessimism. Science backs this up. Studies show that chronic exposure to negativity increases cortisol, the stress hormone responsible for premature aging, fatigue, and even illness. When you are constantly around people who complain, who dwell on problems instead of solutions, your body reacts, your nervous system tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, and over time, this state of stress carves itself into your face, into your energy, into the way you move through life. Negativity is a slow poison, and like all poisons, the damage is often invisible until one day you wake up and realize just how much of yourself you've lost. The glow of positive energy. Now, think about those who seem ageless, those whose presence feels light. They are not immune to hardship, nor do they live perfect lives. But they have learned something powerful, the art of choosing their environment. They protect their energy like they protect their health. They seek out people who uplift them, who inspire them, who fill their conversations with ideas instead of complaints. They do not waste time in circles of gossip or resentment. They surround themselves with those who remind them of possibility, of growth, of what can be. And because of this, their energy stays vibrant. Their laughter comes easily, their expressions remain open, their presence feels alive. Science explains why positive social interactions lower stress levels, increase dopamine and serotonin, and even slow down cellular aging. In other words, surrounding yourself with positivity is not just a feeling, it is a biological advantage, a choice you make every day. So ask yourself, who do I allow into my space? Do the people around you make you feel drained, or do they lift you up? Do your conversations leave you feeling inspired, or do they leave you exhausted? Because here's the truth. You cannot stay young physically or mentally if you are constantly surrounded by the weight of negativity. The human spirit is not meant to carry such burdens for too long, but you have a choice. Start being intentional with your space. Limit time with those who bring only problems but never solutions. Seek out those who remind you of your strength, your dreams, your purpose. Spend time in places that energize you, whether it's nature, creative spaces, or simply rooms filled with laughter instead of complaints. And soon you will notice a shift. Your mind will feel lighter, your body will feel free. Your presence will begin to radiate something different, something that no cream, no treatment, no secret formula can replicate. Because in the end, youth is not just about how you look, it is about how you feel. And when you surround yourself with light, you become it. 6. The fire within. How passion and purpose keep you young. Some people wake up each morning with a dull sense of obligation, moving through their days as if they are simply waiting for time to pass. Their energy is heavy, their expressions lack vibrancy, and their presence feels dim, as if life itself has lost its color. And then there are those who radiate something different. They may be older in years, but they carry an unmistakable light. Their voices have strength, their eyes hold fire, and their movements are filled with intention. What sets them apart? They have something to wake up for. Passion and purpose are not just poetic concepts. They are forces that shape the way you exist. They determine whether you move through life as someone alive or as someone merely existing. The slow death of the spirit. Aging is not just a biological process, it is also a state of mind. You've seen it before. People who, though still young, have already given up on living. They move through the same routines, clinging to familiarity, never reaching beyond what is comfortable. They talk about their best years as if they are behind them. This is not just a mindset, it is a form of decay. Science confirms this. Studies show that people who lack purpose experience higher levels of stress, fatigue, and even inflammation, known of the leading causes of premature aging. Without something to fuel them, the body responds, energy fades, posture slumps, the face loses its natural glow. Because the truth is, when you have nothing to look forward to, time moves through you rather than with you. The undeniable power of purpose. Now look at those who seem timeless. They are not necessarily the ones with perfect skin or youthful features. They are the ones with a presence so strong, so alive, that age becomes irrelevant. Why? Because they have something that drives them. It could be a mission, a craft, a calling, something that ignites them from within. They do not drag themselves through life counting the days. Instead, they chase something bigger than themselves. They stay engaged, curious, and committed to growth. And science backs this up. People with a sense of purpose produce higher levels of dopamine and serotonin chemicals that not only boost happiness, but also protect against stress and cognitive decline. In other words, passion does not just make life feel better, it makes your body function better. A decision that changes everything. So ask yourself, do I wake up with excitement, or am I just going through the motions? If your days feel empty, if you find yourself trapped in routine without meaning, understand this: you are not aging because of time. You are aging because you have stopped living. But you can change that. You do not have to find some grand purpose that shakes the world. It can be as simple as discovering something that makes you feel, something that excites you, challenges you, pulls you forward. Learn, create, build, teach, explore. Because those who have passion do not just survive time, they defy it. And when you live with purpose, you do not chase youth. You become it. 7. The weight you carry. How letting go of the past keeps you young. Some people walk through life carrying things that no longer belong to them. Regret, guilt, resentment. Unfinished conversations that will never be resolved. Wounds that have long stopped bleeding but still ache in the silence. They don't realize that these things do not just weigh down the soul, they weigh down the body. You can see it in their posture, in the heaviness of their steps, in the way their faces harden, not from age but from years of holding on to things they should have released. And then there are those who remain light. Their presence feels unburdened, their energy free, their expressions soft yet alive. They have suffered, just like everyone else, but they have refused to let suffering become their identity. They understand a simple but powerful truth. The past is not a prison unless you decide to live in it. The silent damage of holding on. Emotional baggage is not just a metaphor, it is a real physical burden. Studies have shown that chronic stress, often caused by unresolved emotions, increases cortisol levels, leading to faster aging, weakened immunity, and even physical pain. People who dwell on past mistakes, who replay painful memories, who hold grudges as if they are treasures, these people are not just suffering mentally, their bodies are suffering too. Lines deepen not just from time, but from tension. Eyes lose their brightness not just from age, but from exhaustion, the exhaustion of carrying too much for too long. But those who learn to release, their bodies reflect that choice. They move differently, they breathe differently, because when the mind lets go, the body follows. The strength in letting go. Many people mistake letting go for weakness, as if it means forgetting, as if it means allowing the past to go unacknowledged. But true letting go is not about erasing the past, it is about refusing to be trapped by it. It is choosing peace over resentment, growth over guilt, freedom over the illusion of control. Look at the people who seem ageless, whose presence carries lightness rather than weight. They are not the ones who never struggled. They are the ones who refused to let struggle define them. They have forgiven not because the past deserved it, but because they deserved peace. They have released regret not because they never made mistakes, but because they refused to keep punishing themselves for them. They have moved forward not because it was easy, but because they understood that clinging to what was will only keep them from what could be. A choice you can make today. So ask yourself, what am I still carrying? Is it an old resentment that has done nothing but harden your heart? A mistake you replay in your mind even though you cannot change it? A person you are holding on to, even though they have already let go of you? And then ask yourself, Is this weight making me better, or is it making me tired? Because here's the truth. You cannot step into the future if you are still holding on to the past. You cannot feel light if you are dragging what is heavy. But you have a choice. You can let go. Not because the past wasn't real, not because it didn't matter, but because you still do. And the moment you release it, you will feel something shift. Your mind will clear, your body will breathe, your presence will feel different. Because in the end, youth is not about how many years you have lived. It is about how much weight you refuse to carry. The final reflection: youth is a choice. Youth is not measured in years, it is reflected in the way you live, the weight you carry, and the fire you keep burning inside. It is found in the resilience to rise after hardship, the courage to embrace change, the curiosity to keep learning, and the wisdom to let go of what no longer serves you. Those who seem ageless are not simply lucky. They have made a silent decision to live lightly, to live fully, to live with purpose. And now, the choice is yours. What is one thing you are ready to let go of today? A regret? A grudge? A weight you've carried for too long? Share it in the comments below, because sometimes the first step to releasing something is simply saying it out loud.